Hi, I'm Adam Pearson. I am a licensed mental health provider, and I wanted to talk about common mistakes veterans make in filing their mental health claims with the VA. So, there are many companies out there, especially on Facebook, uh, known as claim sharks. They will charge you uh, a certain amount of your. So, when you get approved, and let's say you get a 70% rating for your mental health benefits. That's an average around $2,100 a month. They will get 20% of that amount every month out of your check for the rest of your life. This is simply for administrative. They're filing your claim, and they might have providers that provide Nexus letters. And so, but one common mistake is um, listening to everyone else but yourself. So, filing a claim, the administrative part, many people can do this. It can be yourself, but a VSO, Veteran Service Officer, is free, but finding the right one that communicates and cares and advocates for you, it's kind of like rolling the dice. There are very good VA coaches. A lot of them are uh, people who used to be educators or raters in the VA system, and they saw how complex this system is for veterans, and they become coaches, and they get accredited by the VA. You can have a friend do it, you could have an attorney do it. But another common mistake is people, you want evidence. You need to look at filing a claim as if you're going to court and the court system is against you. I hate to say that, but that's brutally honest. And it really depends on where you are in the country. And every VA has its own culture. Um, and it's sad to say that at the end of the day, when your claim goes before a rater or an educator, it can depend on how many they have approved, what mood they are in, how many they've not approved. I I won't go into logistics, but I know firsthand that of a he's a veteran coach now, but he was offered a bonus based on how many claims he got denied, including a trip to Disney World. And when I found this stuff out 5 years ago, that's why I decided to start doing these Nexus letters for veterans. I've written hundreds, and one of the first things I always would encourage is writing a personal statement. That's a statement, just your story that you when you join the military, and you can use ChatGPT or AI to help you in writing. That it's a good tool, but you just write your story, what happened to you in the military, how it affected you then, and how it's impairing your life, specifically the personal, social, occupational areas of your life, which is what your rating is based upon. And so, again, in mental health, the ratings are 10, 30, 50, 70, or 100. There is a 90% rating. It's not given very often. And the mental health rating is not like I hear many veterans, I'm going to file for with PTSD. Well, most likely that's when I'm like I would get a Nexus letter for me or independent medical opinion because I provide an evaluation because most likely you have 3 to 5 diagnoses. There's not one veteran, and I've written hundreds, that have only had one diagnosis. Usually there's a trauma, anxiety, and depression diagnosis. And could be insomnia disorder, could be somatic symptom disorder. I screen you for, very common disorders that are, or alcohol use disorder, cannabis use disorder, and that the veteran and veterans hold back on symptoms, and that's not what you want to do for a claim. Um, Passive SI, which is suicidal ideation, but it's passive. These are common examples, and I give this when I through the process with the veteran. I give examples, but 2 common examples of having a passive SI symptom would be thoughts that I wonder what it would be like if I wasn't here. I wish I could fall asleep and wake up in heaven. That is not going to get you admitted to a psych unit. That's passive. It is a severe symptom of depression, but that's a 70% rating. But I also would encourage, but more times than not, veterans have that symptom. We, through this, as you're filing for a mental health claim, a big mistake is not getting treatment, because you got the war of the mind going on right now. You might be a veteran of physical war, but you got the war of the mind, as I call it, going on. And the VA, there are different treatments, including ketamine treatment and TMS. These are two game changers in mental health. And ketamine, everyone wants a magic pill in mental health psychiatry, and these two treatments are the closest thing I've ever seen. And I am living proof. I have PTSD. I don't need more. I'm completely cured. It's a memory of a memory. Ketamine treatment, and you can look this up on your own, but it is a breakthrough treatment for trauma, anxiety, depression, insomnia, chronic pain, addictions, because underneath every addiction is trauma. And I have, so far in 5 years, I have not seen it either change or save lives, or both, in patients. But there's also TMS, which is transcranial magnetic stimulation. TMS, basically, and it sounds complex, but it's a MRI magnet that they put over a certain part of your brain. They do the brain mapping, a psychiatrist does. And it does the same thing as ketamine. It takes longer, though, usually 50 visits. But in one IV treatment of ketamine, symptom relief can be within an hour to 24 hours. And the VA does typically provide both of these, or pay for them. You might have to jump through a couple of hoops. But ketamine is so effective that insurance will not pay for it. The reason being because medications, there's trillions to be made in treating mental health or any diagnosis. But if it's cured, they don't like that. Insurance companies don't, because they're not needed. So, but that's something you can look and on your own. But I highly suggest that to patients suffering. So, because it's time to be a veteran from the war of the mind that you're going through. But also buddy letters. Anybody can write a lay statement or a buddy letter. They're simply writing giving their perception of how your symptoms have been impacting your life since you left the military, and how it affects them. And again, using ChatGPT or other AI will help strengthen your letter. And anybody can write a buddy letter. Your neighbor, people you served with, your spouse, your uncle, your preacher, your anybody. So, and the more you have, that's basically, it's like having a character witness in court. And again, I was trained by a psychiatrist who was also an attorney, so that's how I approach this. Is that you're going to court, and every piece of evidence that you have helps the benefit of the doubt rule. And if you saw my other video, but if you don't know about the benefit of the doubt rule, which is a law that got passed that really favors the veteran with the VA, I would watch one or two videos on the benefit of the doubt rule, which states basically if there's a doubt whether your symptoms, mental health symptoms, are from life or from or service connection, they have to give it to you. It's a law, the claimant, which is the veteran. And so that's why you want every piece of medical evidence or personal statement or buddy letter or Nexus letter, anything, to file with your claim, because that helps as the benefit of the doubt rule kicks in. And or if it's denied, which it might happen, and it does more often than not, unfortunately. But when your attorney or your BA coach, files for a higher level review, you're typically going to get approved because of the benefit of the doubt rule. It is something, and I actually include that in my Nexus letter right before my signature, so the VA is aware that the veteran's aware of this rule. And it's a very valid rule because they told you not to ask for help in the military, and that is not appropriate. That is not, you would never tell your loved one, your mom, your dad, your kid, to not ask for help. And that's one reason the benefit of the doubt rule was passed. So hopefully this helps. Again, I provide Nexus letters for veterans in all 50 states for their mental health claims. It's all online, and I provide you psych testing, which you get to turn in with your claim as medical evidence. That would be equivalent for like an x-ray for a broken bone for a physical claim. And you get to do it on your own timing and your schedule, because it can be overwhelming, and because this is mental health, you're symptomatic. And so that's one reason I do it this way. And I always suggest having a robust claim. And that's because the system, I'll put it that way, the system that you're up against love claims that are weak. They just have a personal statement. And again, the top 3 reasons mental health claims are denied: no diagnosis, not enough medical evidence, no nexus. And again, a nexus is connecting stressors or incidents that happened while you were in service to the diagnoses and symptoms impairing your personal, social, and occupational areas of life. Again, you can contact me through Psychology Today. You can comment, and I will respond, and I'll be sharing my link to my Psychology Today profile. I charge $500 for everything. I promise that's very cheap. Most evaluations by providers are $1,500 to $5,000, and so, but most veterans don't have that just laying around to get. And a Nexus letter can actually, they're so strong because that's basically what happens at a C&P exam. All the information is included in the Nexus letter, and sometimes the VA will, you don't even have to go to the C&P exam. They'll send it straight to the rater, and so that's not a guarantee. Anyone that guarantees that they're going to get you approved, they just want your money. That's a big red flag. And if they're telling you that I can crank you out a Nexus letter in 48 hours, that's another red flag, because it's not going to be comprehensive, it's not going to be robust, and they're probably going to charge you about $2,000 and talk to you for 20 minutes. So hopefully this helps. And again, thank you for serving, and my goal is to serve those who have served. Thank you. Bye.